Oh, shoot, are we just speaking? Okay.
Yeah, just...
I don't think that there is a necessarily quintessential queer experience. I think that a lot of queer people and are all have very different experiences from one another, and while there's similarities, I don't think that there is one quote-unquote true way. But I do think a common thread between all queer people is the feeling of sort of being other.
I came into my identity, like my queer identity, in the school district and everything, but in terms of actually like exploring it and like being gay, it's mostly been with people from other schools, just because like everyone here knows each other. It's a very small community.
People don't tend to interact with queer people if they're not queer themselves, because there's all these little cliques and you have different groups of people, and similar people gravitate towards each other oftentimes, and so it just ends up feeling very ostracized.
Having to lie, I feel, is the saddest and the ugliest part of being a homosexual. When you have your first bad love experience, for instance, and you can't go to your brother or your sister and say, I'm hurting.
Like, there might be some people who feel like they truly do not belong, and there's other people who just feel like there's a slight discomfort or there's a slight rift between them and their peers.
Sexuality and gender are very fluid to me, so generally I don't see them as like a very present part because they don't really exist in my mind, but I am aware that in society I'm perceived as different by everybody else, and that it is a very noticeable aspect of my identity.
I was very guilty. And then I realized that all the things that are taught you not only by society but by psychiatrists are just to fit you in a mold. And I've just rejected the mold, and when I rejected the mold, I was happier.
But I do think that's one of the common grounds of being queer.
I know who my community is, and I'm less worried about, or I'm more willing to experiment with style.
Someone in that community, I feel, especially on online spaces, it's really important to have like a label that you can stick yourself with, so you can find your little in-group within your in-group of like the whole queer community. And personally, I haven't really decided to give myself a label because I don't really like how it feels more limiting to me than it does freeing, or like it accepts me into a certain subset of a community. But it's also made it harder for me to really engage with people within the gay community, because sometimes I identify with one label more than another, but I don't quite see myself really accepted into those subspaces, and so I find it difficult in that way.
Like my friends in Seattle, I'm never gonna see their friends again if I don't. Most of my actual like experimenting and like being with girls and everything has been outside of the school district because of that.
The word itself, queer, just means like weird or strange or like not normal.
My queer experience is being a black sheep in a place of all white sheep, but being colorblind and so not seeing the differences. So the people that help support me and make me know that it's okay that I'm a little bit different, and that even though there are going to be people who don't like me, I'll always have my sister to help me. I'll always have my dad, who, whenever talking about my future, when my mom says, oh, when you marry a nice boy, my dad will say, or a woman. And just always having the nice teachers and all my gay friends and my straight friends here to support me, even though I'm a little different.
Mirror image, see no damage, see no evil at all. Cupid dolls and your stalls will be laughed at the way you're laughed at now.
My queer experience is like opening up a gift package and finding something beautiful inside. All of the time that I have spent with my wife, my queer experience is coming out later in life, though knowing all along that it was the truth. My queer experience is joy and peace and comfort and safety. Yeah, great.
Than fancy floats and big crowd counts. The annual Gay Freedom Day Parade commemorates a specific event that took place in New York 10 years ago this week, an event that spawned the modern-day gay rights movement in the United States.